Okay, so to reproduce squats, you're going to hook your carabiners to any of the top loops around the traps. To reproduce front squats, go straight down or cross them. These will be at the loosest setting, so they will be loose at the bottom. We'll show how to adjust at the end of the video. So front squat is right there. Focus on the quads. If you want to reproduce back squats, just take them to the back. Again, you can go either straight down or cross them. And when you bring them down to your feet, you can loop them in front or behind to give slightly different angles. So for example, let's take them back. Let's go straight down and then loop in front of the feet. Now they can be prone to pop in front while you do this. As you go up on your first rep, just make sure they're behind. And there you go. This feels similar to a high bar back squat. Taking it behind the heel. Shifts the weight, the resistance back and down just a little, so it's getting closer to a low bar back squat. And then finally, if you cross them in the back and take them down, this really starts to feel like a low bar back squat. Let's cross them and then take them in front of the foot. And this is even at the loosest setting. Looped band squats kind of duplicates the old school leaper machines, or kind of like a hack squat machine with the harnesses over your shoulders. The problem with using just bands is they tend to slide off your shoulders. If you try cross them, then they can cut into your neck or choke you out. So I think I'll go with the topmost loop here. Once you have it, we'll just loop each band in. Ideally, you would normally do this before putting the vest on. I'm kind of just doing this to show how relatively easy it is, even though I can't really see what I'm doing. Going purely by feel and, awkward reach. Okay, so there both bands are, and this is really very similar to the front squat. Of course, you could do the front squat in the next loop down as well. I'll loop each one over the shoulder. And there's the setup. You can tweak a little bit with how far in or out from the neck they go, but they'll stay within the carabiners. This will be loose on the bottom until we adjust for tension later in this video. If when coming down you feel this pops over your shoulder, well, obviously you just resituate it before doing the concentric. And there it is, hands free. Let's cross them. So from here, cross the one, bring the other through. There you are. Again, you can kind of finagle a little bit exactly how you like your carabiner to be, and it will make a slight difference, maybe a few centimeters, half an inch or so. Different body types may prefer it, in versus out. Change the angle of the carabiner. And there it is, crossed. Situate if need be. And there you go. Hands free. Obviously, you could be holding a barbell or bands. It could be in a squat rack with a bar on my shoulders, whatever. In a machine. There it is. You can do classic leg extensions a number of ways, but let's just run the band back through the door anchor carabiner, and I'm actually going to hold it in my wrist so I can adjust tension. There's your leg extension. So to isolate the hamstrings, you're typically going to use the same band configuration, but take the bands back behind so as to create a pulling back on your torso, and then you're going to do the stiff-legged movements. So it could be a stiff-legged good morning, pull up with the hamstrings, and of course any sort of stiff-legged deadlift will do the trick. Down, up. You can even do stiff-legged sumo deadlifts, courtesy of Louis Simmons. All of those will hit the hamstrings. So you can also isolate the hamstrings by using bands from a door anchor, running them to your chest, and doing stiff-legged compound movements. So for example, let's connect these up near the collarbone. Then we'll take a step or two out from the door, and you're just going to do stiff-legged movements. Be that a good morning, a deadlift movement, or even kettlebell work. And of course this will somewhat hit the glutes. If you bend your legs, it'll be entirely on the glutes. Keep the legs stiff, it's largely hamstrings. So for calf raises, calf work, it's pretty simple. Attach the bands anywhere in your torso, run them under the ball of the foot on the calf you're hitting. Under the ball of the foot, maintain tension, place that ball of the foot on the step, and there's your calf raise. It's actually really tough to do this even with a lot of machines. Unless you have a calf raise machine or a Smith's machine, it can be tough to really work the calves with free weights. One thing I would recommend, and this is technical as well as a programming variable, is practice pausing on the bottom for at least 2 to 3 seconds to eliminate the stretch reflex. Also practice a slow negative. Most people don't do that on calf raises, probably because the range of motion is so short. So pauses at the bottom, slow negative down. Whew. Really works the calves. Okay, so how to adjust tension, how to increase tension so you're not loose on the bottom. It's pretty simple. If I was previously doing, for example, front squats, coming off these front carabiners, I will attach the bands somewhere else, then run them through that same front squat configuration, thus pulling up the slack, making the band stretch further. I can take these across or straight up. We'll just go across. So they're attached down here, run it up through the carabiner. As you can see, when I do that, obviously makes the bands go farther. So now they only go down to here, whereas when they were attached originally, it's going much further. Same thing here. Keep in mind when you do this, any sort of band configuration, the carabiners are smooth, but at the gate, it's kind of rough, and if your bands rub over that gated portion, it could damage them. Now you'll notice it's quick and easy. Just have them set up properly, it doesn't happen. Here, there's no contact with any rough part of the carabiner, so the bands will be fine. If you do it wrong, you're going to damage your bands. Okay, now look how these are set. See how far up this is? It's not hanging down as it was before when I could just step on them. So you can see what's going to happen. I'm going to go all the way down just to set up for a front squat. You see much more tension. Not loose at the bottom. You can do the same thing. It's pretty much any exercise with a vest. Hook it from another location, bring it to the targeted primary carabiner, increase tension. Let's adjust the tension of the bands for the loop squats. So instead of just having them looped over our shoulders, let's run them from another carabiner through those top primary carabiners that we'd originally use for the loop squats. And as you can see, we've really pulled up the slack by running it through that further carabiner. Look at all the further down this goes. So I'm going to have to go way down to hook it up. Now these are supposed to be loop squats. Let's loop it over the shoulder. Now as you go down, if it pops off the shoulder from leaning over, well, obviously you need to resituate it before coming up. Otherwise, it just turned into a front squat. And if you want to cross them, of course you got to take it over your head. And there it is. Now this is really going to be snug at the bottom. I'm not sure. These are what, the 65-pound bands. Look how much further or how much slack we've pulled up. That's actually pretty crazy.